Since February, the third graders at Union Ridge Elementary School have been learning about Black History Month and the struggles of the Civil Rights Movement. The students transformed the commons area between their classrooms into an African American history museum. Students chose a historical figure to focus on and then created dioramas, posters, books, and much more. We talked to several students about their projects and why they feel it's important to learn about civil rights and the many contributions of African Americans.
So I just did the shoebox, and I did it about Serena and Venus Williams. And right here it says, Serena and Venus Williams, you have to believe in yourself when no one else does.
I did a watercolor project, but I did markers with it, and I did Rosa Parks. I think my favorite one was all of her quotes. I really like about it is the one that she says that if she sits down for freedom, a person should stand up for children. I don't really understand it, but I really like it about her.
My project is about Thurgood Marshall, and Thurgood Marshall was a person who stood up for civil rights and equal rights. Thurgood Marshall wasn't scared to stand up for equal rights.
My project is about Georgia Gilmore and how she helped the bus boycott go on and stop it. She also brought together black and white people by turning her house into a restaurant, and she made it so black and white people could go in it. That's her in the kitchen. That's the bus, and those are her people who are protesting. That's another bus. That's some of her food, and that's when she was doing the speech at church.
There's a teacher named Reverend Reese who ended segregation. I made some people marching, and this person's getting arrested. There's a police car, and then there's a jail.
I chose to do The Green Book by Victor Hugo Green. It's all about how he decided to make a book with a bunch of different places where African Americans would be accepted.
I chose Audrey because to me, she stood out and marched in the Civil Rights March as the youngest marcher in the world. She was locked up in jail, but she was brave and pushed through it. This is her being arrested with the other children. I'll read what I wrote. Audrey is an amazing kid who stood up for what's right in the Civil Rights March and the Civil Rights March. What would you stand up for?
I made a book, and it's about Ruby Bridges. She went to an all-white school. Every day when she had to go to first grade for school, there would be protesters. The Supreme Court ordered the schools to integrate, but they didn't. So they had to pick 5 children to go into white schools.
You get to do history with it, I guess, and I just like history.
To learn about that black people didn't get to do what white people did back then, which was pretty hard for them.
Because you get to learn about what happened in the past and how this happened today.
I really liked learning about how they stopped it, because I think there were lots of interesting ways that people tried to stop segregation.
People need to know what happened back then in the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Probably that he was willing to go all night writing the book to make sure that African Americans had a safe place to stay and eat along the road.
And how they got equal rights for black people.
Favorite thing that I learned was that you gotta be strong, never give up, and then maybe your dreams and what you wanted to get done would come true.